Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show with Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your power, to take action in your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. Listen in today as we speak to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be inspired. Be encouraged. Be transformed. Together, let's take your power back with our host, Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach, Kim Yater.
Well, hello there, my freedom-loving patriots. Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show, the voice of everyday Californians who are done with the status quo, done with broken promises, and ready to reclaim our state for our families, our kids, and our future. I'm your host, Peak Performance Master Coach Kim Yater, and today we are laser focused on the race that could reshape California's leadership for generations to come. The race for Lieutenant Governor. That's right. We've been interviewing all the governor candidates in the state. This one is your Lieutenant Governor. These are not just career. Actually, let's reframe that. They are not just career politicians. These are two fighters who understand service, accountability, and putting people first. And both are right here on the official roster for our historic Take Our California Back to a Better Future Statewide Summit on April 24th and 25th in San Joaquin County, the breadbasket of America. So we're talking from breadbasket to ballot box. We are taking our California back, starting with the Make America Healthy Again Leaders Governor and State Candidate Forum, to the groundbreaking election transparency security feature demonstration, all the way to the historical republic, no party preference, and Democrat all-party lines debate. That's right. We are debating the real issues. This summit is where California's future gets decided. And these two candidates will be front and center. First up today, independent mediator. Actually, yes, this is actually really, really key, guys. Listen in here because this guy's background is astounding. So, independent mediator and trained hostage negotiator, Sean Collinson. Do you think we need some negotiation? Come on, California. Then after the break, we're going to have Republican veteran nurse. She knows her stuff. Fierce advocate, Ebie Lynch. California, buckle on up because this is going to be an absolutely powerful interview today. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch it by bringing in that warrior, Sean Collinson. Sean, welcome to the Take Your Power Back show.
Good morning, Kim. How are you?
Well, Sean, good morning. I am doing really, really good. I have to tell you, you and I have had a couple of powerful conversations. You are refreshing. And it sounds like we have some similar background in as master practitioners in neuro-linguistic programming, which means that you and I both take an oath that to use the tools that have been given to us to only support the good. Would you agree?
Agreed, 1,000%.
All right, Sean, well, let me ask you this. You're running with no party preference as a professional mediator and hostage negotiator who spent decades bringing people together in the toughest of situations. Why now, Sean? Why did you decide it was time to step into the lieutenant governor's race and fight for the golden state of California?
Kim, that's a great question. As a mediator, I just believe that California is super divided right now, and that people are just sick and tired of the same narrative, the broken promises, affordability's through the roof, gas prices are crazy, and people just need someone to come in, help find common ground, and bring people to the table. People are saying, hey, you have to take this stance or you have to do that. I don't think we have to have a bully pit to force people into anything. I think we can all share ideas and start getting to the table and start listening. That's what we do as mediators. If you think about it, the biggest crises in the world, they send in federal mediators. Mediators make the difference. So California needs a mediator to help bring the ideas and find common ground, get people working together again so that we can bring some of this prosperity down to the everyday people that work. It's time to do that and stop the blame game. And every time, Trump does something, we're up in arms. Everything's his fault. As a matter of fact, it might not be only his fault. We have to take accountability in this state. And as the lieutenant governor, I'm going to bring people to the table to be accountable. That's what we need, accountability.
I love it. I love it. You said a few key things, but taking responsibility. We're in a place in this, not just the state of California, but the entire country, where people are living in the fight, flight, and freeze. They're living in the lower brain. So talk about the sheep, right? We're being completely moved by everything that's on social media. And that leaves us in a place of victim. And when we're in a place of victim, you and I both know, Sean, that we can't make powerful choices. All we're doing is deciding from whatever information we have of our past junk in the trunk that's incomplete. So if we get to take responsibility, and which we do, because it really isn't a have to, it's I get to take ownership. Sean, one of the things for me, I'm a mom of 4, I'm a grandma, yes, a business owner, a show host. I lead Take Our California Back, led the Take Our Border Back movement across the country. But I had to learn what it really meant to take ownership for my state of California. I was one of those people. I don't know your story, but I was riding on the coattails of my forefathers, believing that freedom was already free. Right? They fought and died for my freedom, my kids' freedom. Little did I know that I was the frog in the pot. I was no longer standing. I had to lose my freedom before I realized it was lost.
Right. And you hit a key point that's been part of my narrative as we move forward. Small businesses are getting squeezed.
Yes.
I talked to a gal the other day. We were charging some vehicles, and she said, I've been in business 13 years in California. And she said, I can't afford to stay here anymore. And I said, well, what's going on? She said, well, my husband, my son, and my daughter all work at the business, but I can't afford to hire anyone. And she said, California, with all of these regulations and taxes, and she says, you know what? We can't get ahead. And I just looked at her and I just said, you know what? You're right. We are not getting ahead. We're stuck in gridlock while politics as usual happens every 4 years. They come along, they sing a song because it's time to sing it. But when it's time for prosperity to trickle down to the common folk and everyday people that work and carry California on their back, they don't bring it. All I'm saying is, as a no party preference candidate, I'm coming up the middle to make a difference, to make change for the people of this state that are dropping kids off at daycare every day, the moms and the dads. Yeah. I'm talking about the small business owners that have invested their entire lives, families into their community. And that's the thank you we give them. Who are we right now? And then all we do is point the finger. No, they did it. They did it. Wait, whoa. I didn't do it. They did it. And at the end of the day, the people are carrying that burden. So if I'm elected lieutenant governor of California, my job as the mediator is to do exactly what I've been doing. Find the solution. We know the problem. That gal, when she explained it to me about her business, she was telling me the problem. People are tired of problems. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. So when these folks come along every 4 years during the primaries and all of this stuff going on, and they're telling me what they're going to do. They're good at that. But where are the results? Where are the results? We're sitting on the highest healthcare, highest homeowners insurance, highest taxes, craziest red tape and bureaucracy, everything. Why are we paying the most for everything in California? And if that's the case, if we're the fifth largest economy, why aren't the Californians living the dream too? That part, right? So people have to be wondering right now, Sean, if we send you to Sacramento, what can you assure us? Well, California, I can assure you two things right off the bat: that I'm not beholden to either side. So I'm going to bring everyone to the table. Now, people say, well, how do you get people that can't agree on anything how do you get them to the table? Well, let me tell you this much. We can find agreements and solutions, which is my number two, that we all can live with. We're the fifth largest economy in the world. We just need to get people to the table and use their common sense. So common sense is not a given. So no one start DMing me that he said common sense. We have to use our common sense. And as a mediator, I usually, talk to folks going through tough situations, and they're thinking the world is about to end. But if we come together and just put our brains together and start thinking outside of the box and stop thinking within the party lines and start thinking within the people's lines. Elected officials work for the people the last time I checked.
That's right, Sean.
The last time I checked, that's what I found out. And so now it's time to bring the people back into government. And I know people, now look, every candidate running, my colleagues, they mean well. They do. And I give them that credit. But once you join the party, you join a fraternity. Period. You can't join the fraternity and decide you're not going to get hazed and do it their way. It doesn't work like that. That's why good people get into politics. And then once they get in there, you go, well, what happened to the dream? It turned into a nightmare. So I'm sick and tired of politics as usual. That's why I'm running as a no party preference candidate. And I'm a mediator. And like you said, I'm a crises negotiator. I'm trained by the FBI as a hostage negotiator. So I know how it feels when people are at their wits' end and they want to jump and they're tired and they're sick and tired. So sending a mediator to Sacramento this time, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Well said. Well said. Well said. I'll tell you what, the no party preference party is growing. It's like, is it a party? It's not a party, but here's the deal.
It's not a party.
It is growing tremendously because people are like, I do not want to be aligned with this party. And we can see, Sean, that it has not been easy for the NPPs to be seen and heard. It's been very challenging. It's even been challenging for many of the Republicans, unless they are the party's picks, which there are two that have been picked from the beginning. So it's been very challenging for those Republicans to that are not the top picks and the independents to get their voices heard. That's why the Take Your Power Back show is so key, and our Take Our California Back movement is because your voice deserves to be heard, and the people deserve to know what their real choices are. They don't need to be drinking the Kool-Aid of the one party system that is either this or this, because there is no this or this. It is a one party system. So Sean, let's move on real quick. Okay. And this is really important. This ties in to some of our discussion. California's homelessness crisis is heartbreaking. You talked just a moment ago about having to mediate with those people who's so disheartened they wanted to take their life. And much of the homelessness population has been in situations like that, just so discouraged. Our cost of living is crushing families, and taxpayers are fed up with the waste. As Lieutenant Governor, President, which you will be President of the State Senate with tie-breaking power, member of the UC and Cal State boards, and on the State Lands Commission. How would you use that influence to demand real accountability and end the revolving door of recidivism? Let's look at that for a second.
Yes. Yes,
That's a core promise of your campaign, right? So just for our listeners, Sean, real quick, recidivism. Now, I know you guys probably already know, but sometimes I need the refresher. It's the tendency of a person who's been convicted of a crime to reoffend and return to a criminal behavior after being released from prison, jail, or completing their sentence. To you,
Right.
Sean.
Right. So, no, that's a great question, Kim. And but before I jump into that, I want to acknowledge you on Take Your Power Back, because you're absolutely right. Without shows like this, people wouldn't know that a no party preference candidate exists. Now, I'm keep your affiliation, keep it. I'm just saying on this one, let's do something different to provoke and be intentional about change. You can stay with your party. I'm just saying, let's change the DJ. The music sucks. Let's change the DJ today. Let's go to the party. I got that part.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got that part. Now let me just redirect now to your question. So
Yes.
Recidivism, look, we cannot make it a revolving door. We cannot do that, because these people are coming into our communities, into our neighborhoods. So it's right up there with public safety. So my plan as your next lieutenant governor is to bring local officials to the table for accountability, making sure that when these folks come out of prison, they let them out early. Some people argue, well, they never even served, how long they were supposed to be. Well, cognitive behavioral therapies. Let's make sure that they're signed up and enlisted for that. Let's make sure that they're in programs, job force. Let's make sure they're in making sure that education. Now, a lot of people say education. Well, why? Well, we're trying to get our kids to school and train. Well, let me just tell you one thing. When you have education, you're less likely to reoffend. So this education thing is making sure that these people feel like, life cares about them too. They're out here offending, but education can bring, statistically, it shows that when folks are educated, they're least likely to offend. So why aren't we making sure that these programs to end recidivism are mandated? It's part of a condition of the parole or whatever they're doing, instead of just slapping an ankle bracelet or having them check in and leaving them to their own. We have to have systems in place, because the reason I'm saying this is because they're our neighbors. They're your neighbor.
Yes.
They're my neighbor. Wouldn't you want your neighbors rehabilitated? Or do you just want them standing out front thinking, hey, when they see your kid on a scooter and they don't have anything to live for or put this against? So I think education is big. Cognitive behavioral therapy is huge. And I think that they have to have the job resources so that they can get out and become citizens and contribute and add value to society. That's what that would take. And then on the homelessness front, as lieutenant governor, we have to hold these local officials accountable. We can't just pass the baton and go, hey, you guys got it from here. No, as lieutenant governor, I have leverage. My office will have influence. So I will be checking in with the governor as we get on the same page. I'll be coming down to Southern California, to Orange County, San Diego, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles, and making sure that our local officials know that the lieutenant governor's office, they have our support. What I've found with a lot of folks that get up to Sacramento, they don't get back down Southern California. Southern California, there's 21 million folks. That's half the populace of the state. So we have to be up Northern California and down here in Southern California. Oakland, clock in. Sacramento, Stockton. But let's get down to Orange County. Let's get down to San Diego.
That's right.
Let's rub elbows with our colleagues all over the state. We are massive.
Yes.
I'm proud of
Yes.
California, 5th largest economy. So that means to me, when I'm speaking with the governor and I'm saying, look, we have to make sure businesses are not leaving the state. I haven't heard one candidate talk about the movie credits. Hollywood is the capital of the movie industry, but it seems like that capital of Hollywood's now in New Jersey. We have to bring that back to Hollywood. So no one's talking about the reform of those movie credits. And let's get these people with jobs working right here in California. We're the 5th largest.
Yes.
Let's make that work. Let's make that work for the people dropping off kids at daycare. Let's get the child care right. Let's get the health insurance taken care of so these people can feed their families, get on over to Disneyland, have some fun, and have a couple extra dollars in their pockets. But every 4 years, they sing the same song as the no party preference candidate. I'm just saying, bet on me this time. In the primaries, June 2nd, a vote for Sean, like Sean Penn, Sean Connery, Sean Collinson, is a vote for change. And the reason I can assure you of that is simply because I'm not beholden to either side. Now, getting on these shows is tough for a no party preference guy because everyone wants to dance in their party. So they don't want me on the show. They're like, oh, no, we can't have that mediator guy, hostage negotiator. What's that? They want to go into this, and then they want to put me in a box and go, well, what do you think about the drilling? And you're definitely conservative because no party preference. You're camouflaging. We're not camouflaging anything. All we're doing is the republic and the government, the people should have a say. And so far, Californians have been ignored. They've been ignored. And anyone that's watching this or sees this can share it with someone. If you can't say it, California, I'll say it for you. You've been ignored. It's time to bring someone with some skills. A mediator is perfect. Let's mediate a position that we all can live with. That's all I know how to do. I don't know how to join the party.
Bringing all sides together.
Yes.
We do need that, bringing it to the table, not debating one another, debating the issues and coming up with real solutions. And I must say that we probably need some communication skills, some guidelines, some healthy communication so that we can move the needle. I think we've forgotten how to do that in our society that is that loves these shows that that are beating one another up on. So I think it's time to really take our power back in that area. I love that, Sean. Let's transition for a moment. Okay. You talk about transparency on your campaign. We've had a couple of conversations. Just a couple things you brought up today kind of mirror transparency. So, and when we're looking at transparency and how our tax dollars are spent, if we take a look at the Take Our California Back to a Better Statewide Summit featuring a major election transparency and security feature demonstrations, I want you to tell us what specific reforms will you champion to make sure every California vote is secure, counted, and trusted?
Yeah, so that is a huge issue right now with the voter ID. I'm getting that question almost on every show we go on. We have to do things the right way. So I champion moving for a system that is fair, a system that's equitable and fair. Now, the federal government says, well, we're going to have it this way. Our local governments say, well, we're going to do it this way. I believe as the mediator, let's look at both platforms. So when we do move to reform, we're adding some of this and some of that. And that goes in alignment with being a mediator. If we can get the best of the red and the best of the blue, then that's going to be the best for the red, white, and blue. We have to stop making it one particular way. So I'm always a champion for let's just figure out what works for the people. Let's do the people's business. Let's stop doing the party's business and making it a one-way street. We're going to have to start. Look at, okay, what's here? What's there? And then as the mediator, I get this side to say, basically, you know what, Sean, I can live with this. It's like the orange, the lime, and the juice. The other side, I go to the other room and I say, okay, guys, over here we have that. And they go, well, you know what, man, at a minimum, I think we should do this. And then my job is to just make sure that the people's interests is part of the solution. Now, whatever comes out of that is for the people. And they didn't even know I did it.
Well,
That's
let's
what
take
I'm
a look
going
at
to
it.
champion.
I like that. I like that. So let's bring something to the table that's palpable today that we can relate to. So if we took a look at the 45,000 plus ballots that were exposed, more ballots than people in Riverside County for the Prop 50 election, right? The gerrymandering of the districts. So if we look at what Bianco taking those, so listening to the citizens of a Riverside who worked very closely with people like Clint Curtis. Clint Curtis, if you do not know, Sean, I'm so excited about you being at this event because it's going to be so eye-opening to the people what's so with the election system. So Clint Curtis was hired by the Bush administration in the early 2000s to write the code to flip the vote in the machines. He became the whistleblower to Congress, not knowing how they would be utilizing that. It was kind of like, okay, tech, show us this can't be done. What's a tech guy going to do? Show you there's a back way in and you can do it, right? So whistleblower to Congress, fast forward, he's now the registrar of voters clerk in Shasta County. Shasta is the epicenter for election transparency. Now, he worked closely with Riverside, the citizens, that connection we made. And it was powerful because they brought in Sheriff Bianco to do his job as the sheriff where there is fraud like this. It is his responsibility to bring that to the court. And he did. They seized those ballots. They're in the sheriff's office now. This was supposed to be in the court's hands. Rob Bonta, AG, came after him basically saying, don't do anything before May 6th. I believe May 6th is that date where everything gets wiped away. If it's not brought to court, forget us ever really looking at those ballots. So he said, no, I'm going to do the right thing before the people. This is an investigation. We're just going to figure out what happened. Where's the breakdown here, right? Good job, Sheriff Bianco. We're going to give you kudos to that. But Sean, we just found out that because of the lawsuits, what Bianco says were political lawsuits, the courts are shutting down. They're just shutting it down right now. So as Lieutenant Governor, what do you see needs to happen right now? This is our current election system. If the vote can be flipped, think about that. The machines, the ES&S machines, the Dominion machines can be accessed by Wi-Fi, right? They can be accessed. What does that tell you?
If I'm elected as lieutenant governor, and this is a right now urgent situation that I know concerns a lot of folks, automatically I have the ear of the governor. And it sounds like to me, I mean, come on, it's no surprise. California is a supermajority. They're in every house. They're in the governor's mansion, legislator. Rob Bonta files lawsuits. Seems like that's just Rob's job, right? So he's going to do that. But as lieutenant governor, where I think this office can be instrumental is having the leverage and the influence to put people on accountability status. Now, the way you phrased it this morning, it seems that Bianco, the sheriff, did have the authority to investigate fraud.
Yes.
Right? There's no question that if he has probable cause, I'm sure that he's not just, walking around, slinging allegations. I'm sure
right.
he appears to be a very smart man, and it seems like he's done his homework. He's done a deep dive, and his consensus decided we have to, look into this as a fraud investigation. Now, during an election season, it seems, is the timing, what is the timing of this?
Mm,
So as lieutenant governor, if I'm given the authority to, again, go back to the local officials, this happened in Riverside. Let's see who's on first. Let's see who's on second. I think the people oftentimes get confused by all the media and the distractions and what's going on. Facts don't lie. People do. So
mm,
my role is to get to the facts and figure out, okay, here's what's going on here with the facts. And then once we present the facts, and whoever's in charge of presenting that, it's our job as elected officials to make sure that the people's votes are protected. Now, there's different things of, people trying to be excited on the right, excited on the left. This was fraud, this was that, this was this. But at the end of the day, let's cut out the finger blaming and pointing. Let's get to the facts.
love
As
it.
a
I love it.
mediator, we only work with the facts. When parties are arguing over trivial things and majoring in the minor, it becomes a big distraction. But how about if we just come in, call in the officials into the office, or hey, we maybe take a ride down there and meet with them in Riverside. Let's find out, what are your facts? And then if
Yes.
Sheriff Bianco has legitimate facts that make sense, then we should support that. If he doesn't, then we should abort that. That's what people who are being held accountable, when folks put their vote behind someone,
Yes.
they're believing that this individual is going to be of service and serve the people.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're getting for their vote these days are folks just coming along saying they'll do something the right way, and they're going to help you with this, they're going to help you along with that. But as it turns out, once they join the party, there's just no way for them to do it because it's been held hostage, hence hostage negotiator, by the party.
That was perfect. Perfect
Yeah,
insert. Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
So as that FBI
Yes.
trained hostage negotiator, my role is
Mm-hmm.
to free the people. Let's get the people back in the game. These people are working hard.
That's
They
right.
want common sense in government. They want their elected officials. Sometimes they say, man, this guy has no common sense. Where's his sense? This don't even make any sense. It's went
And you
from,
know what? Let me insert this, Sean.
yeah,
So we don't have to stop here, right? Because the court said, hey, we're going to just kind of put it on hold right now. We don't want to be sued. First of all, what does that tell you about the court system if that's what's happening? Sheriff Bianco and the people of Riverside should be in an absolute uproar. And I think
yeah,
we need to stop being victims and allowing ourselves to be victimized. Okay. This is
right.
where we really get to take our power back. So in a conversation yesterday with ROV, Clint Curtis. Clint reminded me, he said, Kim, listen, he said, because this impacts the federal election, Bianco right now can apply for cert to the Supreme Court because it impacts
Mhm.
the federal election. So you don't have to just take what the court is saying. You actually can go, okay, listen, I hear you. What are some action steps we can take to actually move
Right.
this forward? So that would be my encouragement to Sheriff Bianco right now. That would be my encouragement to the people of Riverside. And you made a comment a moment ago. What was the comment you made? You said facts don't lie, people lie. You said that, yes?
Right.
So when we're looking at these machines, you have to remember that the code in the machines was written to be manipulated with.
Right.
And it's the people outside of the system, Belarus, Venezuela, some of these other countries that actually have you been able to access that system to flip that vote. And so this is what we got to look at. This is not new information. This is something we've been dealing with since 2020. We are now in the midst of the election fraud disclosure. And this is something that President Trump is talking about a lot. So the fact that, John, this is happening in your state, our state, right here, right now.
Right.
We have a window of time before the primaries where we got to say, the buck stops right here. This is it. We're going to deal with this now. We're not going to wait for when I'm in office, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do something now. So what is one step you can take, Sean, to move the needle right now to make sure that the people's vote and voice are heard?
Well, I'm going to get right in there on, look, fraud doesn't help any candidate, right? It's not going to help unless the people who created the fraud, they're trying to get some type of advantage. So if there's fraud in our voting system, in our election, and all of the facts align, then if no one else wants to say it, I'm calling BS. And that we have to take a closer look at that, because just like it could hurt Bianco, or it's going to hurt my office as a candidate. Because if the supermajority thinks dead people who aren't registered to vote, and we're just going to call it all the numbers, they have it twisted. And that's not fair to the people of California. So if no one else wants to say it, I'll say it. It's not fair. So the one thing that people are electing these officials to do is to at least keep a fair voting process. I think people value their votes.
Yes,
their vote is their voice.
Yes.
So if Sheriff Bianco found that there was fraud, he's not reckless. He's not reckless by any means. I've met Sheriff Bianco. I've talked to some folks in Riverside County. And here's the deal. I'm sure he had sufficient intel and probable cause to bring it. Now, no matter how they spin it, at the end of the day, your vote is your voice. It should count. It is important. So if there's an appearance of something, even in mediation, when there's an appearance of something, that means something's going on. We should take a look at that. If you take a paintbrush,
45,000 additional ballots.
That's a lot of votes.
Come on.
That's a lot of votes. A lot of elections are decided by 10, 20,000.
That's right.
So if there is corruption and fraud at that level, then we should be uncovering that, not blocking that.
Beautiful.
We should be finding out what is going on. And instead of using, again, the supermajority in legislature to say, hey, we're going to put the brakes on that. So is California saying we just have it rigged and the supermajority keeps doing what they're doing? That's even more of a signal today that the no party preference candidate is your guy for lieutenant governor, because I'm not beholden to either side. So now they're going to be really nervous. They don't want you to vote no party preference because I'm not in the party club. I'm not driving around on the party bus with 4 flat tires. I'm the new set of tires, the ones that don't slip and slide on the freeway. So of course they don't want you to hear from me. Right. A Democratic show hasn't invited me on once. You know why? Because they don't want you to know that there is a real guy, a people's person, an everyday guy just like you that goes to work, has a teenage son, affordable education, and making sure it's accessible to foster kids, making sure that the UCs and the CSUs and our community colleges, the systems are set up for the foster kids with special needs, making sure it's just not a symbolic thing in their curriculum, that these kids are actually having access to higher education. No one is talking about that. Everyone's just throwing out talking points. But there's real stuff. I sit on a foster care board. Open your doors so that these folks, when they term out of foster care. They have access to higher education. We should be making sure, because the kids are our future. And when it comes to making sure to tie it into fair elections, let the people's vote count. We don't want dead people voting. 45,000.
That's right.
This
That's
is
right.
something
That's
is
right.
going. Houston,
Yeah.
no, California. We have a problem. And the reason
Mhm.
they don't want you to talk to Sean Collinson is because I will expose the problem. As the mediator, my job is to tell the attorneys when I'm in mediation with them, hey, your exposure is right here. This is where the landmine is. What do you think I'm going to do when I get to Lieutenant Governor's office? I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to create there's only two sides of the coin. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. A mediator is looking for the solution. My focus is that. I don't know how to figure anything else out. We know what the problem is. The health insurance is too high. Homeowners insurance is too high. Gas prices are too damn high. Small businesses are leaving the state. Big companies are leaving the state. California, we do have a problem. It's time to do something different. What would be so bad? Choosing the party preference candidate, winning the primaries, to do something different. How could I get it more messed up than they've already screwed it up? They screwed it up for 16 years. We can't afford 4 more. That's a 20-year bid. Let me get you released early. This June 2nd, a vote for Sean is a vote for change. And if Sheriff Bianco, he's been gunning strong. When I went up to Riverside and I visit with Bianco, I think it was an Elks Lodge. He did a speech. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard his speech. And I know that there's been some bickering back and forth with the Republicans, with just some name calling, and we're getting into, kindergarten stuff. But if you ever listen to the guy's story, he had a pretty good story. And then when I watched some things about Steve Hilton, I saw some things that were like, wow, what a great story these folks have, and how committed they are to change. And if we can hold them to that, And any combination of this, whether it's a Republican governor or a Democratic governor with a no party preference candidate for lieutenant governor, you're going to give yourself a chance. Even if the supermajority wins and they say, well, Democrats, you guys are weak. And I hear people in their party saying that all day. But at the end of the day, if they wisen up and say, you know what, the people are sick and tired of this, we block everything with a supermajority. You know what? Let's get this no party preference candidate in the game, because it's going to show that we are promoting doing something different.
Come
But
on. You're going to hold that
definition of
right there.
insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We
Yes.
haven't got them. California, it's time to do something different. You guys need to show up and show out on June 2nd for the primaries.
That's right.
Sean Penn, Sean Connery, Sean Collinson,
S-E-A-N.
Governor, S-E-A-N.
That's good.
The mediator. Let's go.
Come on, the mediator. I love it, Sean. I love it. So, Sean, let me ask you. So, when we are at the Take Our California Back to a Better Future Summit, we have a MAHA Leaders Governor and State Candidate Forum. We have a few forums that week, and it's going to be extraordinary. So, we've got leaders coming in from the Make America Healthy Again movement. So, as we move forward, how do you see yourself bridging divides when it comes to health, the issues of the past lockdowns, the mandates? How do you see yourself bridging the gap with putting all of the pieces together with public safety? I mean, this is one of those areas that is not being discussed. And if we don't think it can happen again and be worse, if we don't learn from this, there's a problem. So tell me how what do you see bringing to the table at this MAHA Leader Governor Candidate Forum?
Yeah. So as you know, I mean, a lot of people, we went through this pandemic. We did this mask thing. you go to restaurants and, the people got the mask on and then it's down on their nose. And it's a lot going on, with this.
A lot.
And then they came up with about as many monkeys and rat combinations of, things they wanted to do.
Who done it?
Our governor is going to have to be strong. So I think that at this summit, what I mostly look for is a more sort of active listening kind of guy. I'm good at that. And so what I'm looking for is a governor that's going to stand firm, not go with the party preference. And when these guys are talking a good game, I was the debate president. So my whole thing is about, making sure that we hold their feet to the fire. So folks, we can do better. California, we can do better. And if they're just selling the dreams again, now I know that there's strong opposition between the right and the left. It's polarized. The polarization is more than folks have dealt with in a long time. We're coming out of this pandemic. People are trying to get back up to speed, feed their families. They're trying to keep their doors open for businesses. But making sure that we learn from history, not repeat it. That's my stance. So we have to learn as we go forward. As a mediator, when I come into a case, which I'm currently, still working, I have some open cases, and people come in with difficult concepts and theories. And I don't believe anyone's ever wrong for the way they actually think. Because some people say, I believe this. And when you believe something, you're convicted. My job is to just do active listening. Get on there, build some rapport with you, and don't make you wrong for the way you think. And I think right now that on the summit floor, when folks get an opportunity, we get an opportunity to meet each other and share ideas. Hopefully these guys are not beholden to the party's interest.
Right.
It's time to do the people's business.
Well said.
And I think the people are ready for their business. So when they meet Sean Collinson, you better come over to me with the people's business, because we're not joining fraternities. This isn't even a lifetime gig.
Yeah, let's take the state back. Let's focus on that. We don't need a little fraternity thing going on. Little
we have to stop that and take the state back. 100%. So take our power back. This show is absolutely appropriate for this message, and millions of people should be listening to Take Your Power Back show. Because this is the only show that is legitimately saying how we get the power back. You're bringing on everyone. You're saying my door is open. If you have a conversation or you have something to talk about, put it up. Put it up. Yes. You're not USC where you're limiting it to just 4 or 5 people. You're bringing everyone in.
Yes. And speaking of everyone, as we were sitting here, I just got a phone call in from Matt Mahan. So they're starting to call. They're starting to say, I want on the platform.
Now look.
That's a good sign.
Now, I can tell you one thing I really like about Matt Mahan. He's level-headed. He was a school teacher. He's level-headed. I love the fact that Matt brings in some qualities of, listening. He's not very reactive. Those are all great skills. That's a skill set. And so as we move forward, I don't think there's a clear front runner to do anything. But as these folks get into bickering and fussing back and forth, I'm going to tell you one person that does handle that really well. And that's Matt Mahan. He handled that really well. I've seen him, I saw Steve Hilton standing right next to him. He took some shots. If I'm lieutenant governor, the governor and I have to work close together. We have to have likability. And so as the lieutenant governor, and I'm having open doors with community meetings, town halls, where folks get to, on a monthly or bi-monthly access to the lieutenant governor's office. We have a round table. The leaders get in the room. The citizens get in the room in the communities that pay the taxes, that pay government and elect the officials. And they get in the room and they say what is keeping them up at night. Has anyone ever thought about well, how do I call one of the elected officials that I voted for and tell them what's keeping me up at night. So when we talk about healthcare, that's going through the roof. A couple of people probably keeping them up at night. Gas prices, insurance, access to higher education, it's keeping people up at night. So now when in my lieutenant governor's office, my door is open. So the people have access to take the power back by speaking to the officials. Now, once I get the people, I hear from them. My leverage and influence of that office is to go and communicate that with the governor that's aligned. So when I'm saying bridge the gap, there's going to be a huge gap, and it always has been, between fear and respect for law enforcement. In 2015, I had a program called POP, Pullover Protocol, that I partnered with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. That was teaching young drivers how to have respect for law enforcement in a way so that they can get home safe, and so can the officers. So it was about bridging fear and respect. A lot of folks don't know that, but we were one of the only teams that stayed on board, going to all of the hot spots in Southern California where young drivers were saying, I have no respect for police. They tell me to get out the car. I don't need to do that. I don't need to listen to them. They're not my daddy, not my mama. But when we went into those schools, we started to explain to them that, do you know that police officers are moms, dads, brothers and sisters and cousins and uncles and family members? One kid in one of the schools we went to, he said he hated police officers. And so we did the Q&A, and I said, why do you hate the police? He goes, they killed my cousin. And this kid was a senior in high school. He had valid, emotions. So at the end, I went over and I spoke to him, and I said, what happened? And he told me the story. By the end of our conversation, we were taking some photos in the front. He came up to the front, and I looked over at him and I said, hey man, want to take a picture with us? I'm in play. I'm just in my suit. I'm with some sheriff deputies, a captain. And he said, okay. And he just kind of nodded, but it was inclusive. Yeah. He felt good. This kid. So good. Now I'm going to shock you. Today, he's becoming a police officer.
That's great.
What I told him was,
that's huge.
Don't be part of the problem.
Yes.
Sometimes we can't control the problem, but we can the solution.
That's right. That's right. Sean, final question today. Yes. What message do you have for every Californian watching who feels their voice has been ignored for way too long? My message to every Californian is feeling like your voice hasn't been heard. You've been ignored. It's true. It's true. I'll say it for you. But as the mediator candidate for lieutenant governor, no party preference. That means that your voice is going to be heard. If you rewind this show, I said I'm going to have town halls for my office as lieutenant governor. You're going to get to shake hands and tell me what keeps you up at night, because you're the reason I'm on this show. I'm on this show for the people, to serve, to be of service. So a vote for Sean, and I know my saying, like Sean Penn, like Sean Connery, SEAN, Sean. The vote for me is the vote for change. It's a vote to do something different this time. Let's just take a chance on doing something different. Keep your party affiliation. I don't want to take that away from you. I know you've spent years at that party. All I'm saying, let's change the DJ. Let's put someone in, the mediator, to take your vote to Sacramento to make a difference, where you will have access to the office. You'll have access so that this ear to the streets, to the people working hard, to small businesses, bringing them back. I'm your shot at restoration and hitting the reset
A lot of people don't know, Kim, that I wrote a book in December. It was called Reset or Repeat. We're either going to repeat the same problems and pain, or we're going to reset our purpose. So
and
vote for
it is
Sean.
time for a reset. Sean Collinson.
I am
okay,
the
Sean,
candidate.
And people can find
that's
you.
What I'm going to do for the folks of California. I'm not in either party. I'm not saying leave your party. I'm not telling you that. I know some people are saying you have to join us. You got to join us. No, we need to come together, folks.
That's right.
We need to put our heads together.
Create. Yes.
In California, it's turning this whole thing, join the party. It's not sounding, and then on one side, they keep telling you, oh, we're poor. We are going to jail. My family was this. I'm sick and tired of the po talk. I'm ready for some lift me up talk.
Get me to the CA.com. That's
what happened next level? I'm not going to sit around telling my kids we and when everybody was in jail and I come from the hood and it's all good. No. Start speaking life into me. Start talking about we can go to the next level. I don't want to sound too aggressive because I'm a mediator and a hostage negotiator.
Sean Collinson, I want to say
come with me, y'all. Let's go.
Thank you for your bold vision. California needs leaders who listen first. I'm so honored to have you here. We can reach you at, let's look at that website right there on the scroll, Sean Collinson for Lieutenant Governor, and that's Sean for SEAN for FOR CA.com. That's Sean for CA.com. Sean Collinson, I am so excited to see you at the Take Our California Back to a Better Future Statewide Summit in the breadbasket of America, San Joaquin,
We'll see you in person soon, Kim.
I'm excited. God bless you.
And God bless you too. And God bless America. Bless California. Let's go, people. It's time for change. Sean for CA.com.
Come on, Sean Collinson. Guys, what? That was awesome. I'm telling you, these candidates are absolutely bringing it. I think this is the first time in years that we're seeing there's a transition happening. There's a transformation happening. I believe that God is bringing something new. And I think people are tired of hearing the political talk, the political jargon. People want real solutions and candidates who are willing to put a stake in the ground, not be bought out, not be sold, but put a stake in the ground and say, I am in this to the end. I will stand in truth and I will put my foot forth to represent the people and the people's voice and what is best for the state of California. So with that being said, guys, we're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors who've made today's Take Your Power Back show possible. And when we return in the room, we've got our second Lieutenant Governor candidate with us, Ebie Lynch, the veteran, the nurse, the California First Warrior. So let's take a moment. We're going to thank our sponsors, and then Ebie is coming on in to join us. Our first sponsor up, which is probably one of my favorite sponsors, and you all have heard me talk about this before. It's our Patriots Made sponsor. And I'm going to tell you, why is our Patriots Made sponsor so key right now? Because patriotsmade.com puts the power back into your hands. And what that looks like is, and actually, let me switch this over. I want to pop this over here for you guys to see. We got Keep Freedom Alive, Keep Freedom Alive right here. Let me pop this over to you guys. Boom. And boom, and save that baby. And it's coming up right now. There we go. Patriotsmade.com. All right, guys, here's the deal. We all have been drinking the Kool-Aid for way too long. We all have been supporting the big box retailers that basically fund or are funded by BlackRock and Vanguard. I say let's bankrupt the corrupt. Let's take our power back. Why are we buying into and buying products with Procter & Gamble, Colgate and Palmolive, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever? Where are they even made? These ingredients coming from China, do you know what's in the products you're using? Do you know there's parabens, alcohols, sulfates, triclosan, quaternary disinfectants? Your skin is the biggest organ of your body. What's on your skin within 26 seconds hits your bloodstream. You want healthy pets? You want a healthy family? Get the junk out of the trunk. Start supporting an American manufacturer. American made. Our patriotsmade.com is our American made manufacturer. Over 450 products that are better, safer, less expensive. No junk in the trunk. Tap on in for yourself. 21 years ago, I made the switch, guys. I've helped thousands with turning lights onto the body. I've helped hundreds of thousands with taking their well-being back. You got to tap on in. It's patriotsmade.com. Go check it out. Our team of experts will make sure you have the video, you get your eyes on it, and you'll be invited to a virtual tour of the store. Go check it out for yourself. Put money back in your pocket, okay? Have better health, support American made, bankrupt the corrupt, and take your power back. Go to patriotsmade.com. That's patriotsmade.com. Go check it out, and our team of experts will join you in making sure that you have what you need to take your power back. Now, our second sponsor, freedomstakesnow.com. Guys, I love me my beef. I don't know about you, but I'll tell you what, I don't want beef with hormones. I don't want beef with antibiotics. I don't want beef with mRNA. I don't want beef with Zeranol. I want beef that's vertically integrated, a manufacturer that every part of it is vertically integrated. You know that baby calf. You know the whole story, where it was born. It was with its mama. Let me tell you, our Freedom Stakes Now resource is incredible. It blows away the prices of the boxed companies. It's less expensive than Costco. I've had beef at Mar-a-Lago, the highest level steakhouses. This is the best beef you will ever eat. freedomstakesnow.com. It is prime select, 28 days aged ribeye. My most favorite. And let me tell you, I eat all the fat on that ribeye. I grill it nicely. I utilize the seasonings from Patriots Made, American Made, Organic. The bomb diggity. Go check it out for yourself. freedomstakesnow.com. That's freedomstakesnow.com. And you will have the best beef ever. Now, with that being said, we have an incredible show for you today. I mean, we just got to listen in to Sean Collinson, and up next is a warrior, you guys. You know, we are in the race right now for Lieutenant Governor of California. That's our conversation today. And both of today's guests, they have been live with us, and they're going to be joining us at the Take Our California Back to a Better Future Statewide Summit in San Joaquin, California. That's on April 23rd and 24th and 25th. And I got to tell you, this statewide summit, absolutely extraordinary, you guys. There is a convoy that's leaving from Corona, California, Southern California on the 23rd, heading up to Stockton, California, San Joaquin, your breadbasket. Now, we have probably over 30 candidates that are Republican, that are Democrat, that are no party preference, that have been invited. And we've got emails coming in like crazy. Hey, can I be on the platform? Can I be on the platform? We can only bring in a certain amount. Bear with us, because there's so many of you reaching out. You want to get yourself there. Go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. Make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's takeourcaliforniaback.com. I want to pull this up for a second. Now, I got to confess, we have a new flyer that's being made. It's going to be out later today. Ebie Lynch, who you're going to see next, she will be on that flyer. We just added her to the platform. This event is going to be absolutely incredible. You'll have a banquet dinner with the candidates as well. Go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. That's takeourcaliforniaback.com. That way you can tap on in, get your banquet ticket. Everything else is free. And this event is going to be absolutely historic. That's takeourcaliforniaback.com. Join us at the statewide summit. And without further ado, we've got a warrior in the room. She's been waiting. She's been waiting to tap on in. She has been so patient today. We had quite the interview with Sean Collinson. It was absolutely amazing. Now, remember, Ebie Lynch, running for lieutenant governor. What makes her unique? She's a veteran. She has served our country. She's a nurse. She's a caretaker. She's a mother and an unapologetic fighter for working families. Ebie Lynch, welcome to the Take Your Power Back show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an honor. Well, Ebie, you and I have had a couple of phone calls, and I got to
Yes.
tell you, when I go to your website, I absolutely love, all of the little AI clips of you. It's so cool, the character. Ebie, I see that you are a stand for freedom. You got to listen in to some of the conversation that we just had with Sean, and I love that because you are a woman that is a woman of collaboration. It's very important to you to make sure that the people's voice are heard and that there are solutions that are being brought to the table. So today, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. You understand what sacrifice is, being a nurse who's seen healthcare from the front lines, a mom, a labor advocate, and a woman with deep faith. So why are you running for lieutenant governor right now when so many Californians feel forgotten?
Well, California is my home, Kim, and I can't just leave just because my home is going down the tubes. I am a fighter by nature, and I believe 100% that if it matters, then you fight for it. California matters. So I'm here to fight the good fight, to make sure that we get our voice back, to make sure that we go back to the California that most true Californians loved and respected. A lot has changed in the last few decades, and I want to get true change, better change enforced so that we can be able to have the voice that we deserve in California.
So good. That's so good, Ebie. And that is key right now. Now, we both know that parents are fed up with the school system, and they're fed up that they do not put the kids first.
Yes.
You've spoken powerfully about protecting girls and boys' sports, raising academic standards, and giving parents a real voice. How will you use the lieutenant governor's role on the education boards to put California kids first?
Well, Kim, what I will do is what I'm doing right now. I've visited different partners in education. One of them in particular being a school that's a nonprofit school. They're a standalone school. It's called Miracle University. What Miracle University does is what other people and organizations say they would do. They go and they find the children that everybody else left behind, that nobody wants, that people said, oh, it's impossible to educate this individual because they have a criminal record, because they are homeless, because they have too many problems, social problems, and we just can't handle that. But Miracle University does that. They handle it. What they do is they create a wraparound program for each individual student. And not only do these children graduate, they thrive. They go on to higher education. They go on to the military. They go on to jobs such as nursing, safety, construction. They become productive portions of our communities. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I go out there and find the people who are willing to work with me to replicate what Miracle has done. And we're going to spread the miracle throughout California for all individuals in schools, especially those who are looking to go into higher education or just looking to go into something that is, 12 months and they have a career. So we want to make sure people are able to get careers that of their choosing, and they don't have to bankrupt themselves in order to do so.
I love that. I love that you're really empowering people. That's good to see, Ebie. I love that you've created that and that you're seeing what's possible for the state. So,
Yes.
Ebie, you're joining us on the platform of Take Our California Back to a Better Future. And I'm so excited. So we're featuring an all party lines debate And I'd like to say we're not debating one another, we're debating the issues. And
Yes.
we're also focusing on election transparency and election transparency security feature demonstration. California working families, Ebie, are demanding secure elections. And we had this conversation, with Sean Collinson a little while ago. So their families are demanding secure elections and real criminal justice reform that keeps California safe without punishing the innocent. What's your plan to deliver both?
Yes. So as far as our election system goes, I will 100% support initiatives that support the people's voice. And what I mean by that is voter ID. Right now, there's a ballot to make sure that everybody has the ability to represent their voice and prove that they have that right. I am all for that, because if we don't protect people's voices by saying, okay, there's a standard that we all equally have to have, then we're basically saying that, hey, anybody can steal it and we won't do anything about it. This situation right now in Riverside County
Yes.
is because we don't have voter ID. If we had voter ID, then we would not have to now have this fight of whether or not we should legislate so that we can protect our rights or not legislate. I think if you set up the standard equally across the board for everyone to follow, that actually helps all of us, because we can feel confident that no one is being given an extra step or an extra vote. Everyone has to equally follow the same rules. And that way we can have more confidence in our voting system. So let's bring on voter ID, because it just makes sense. It's not punitive, it's actually restorative. It restores our confidence in our voting system.
Okay, Evie, I got that. Voter ID is key. I love it. I love the idea of hand count, paper ballot, voter ID. In the state of California, as you know, we are not allowed to do hand count. So that's why what Shasta is doing, the epicenter of election transparency, is so important, because they've created an additional election safety feature that
Yes.
that literally is live streamed. Like every ballot that enters the tabulator is live streamed to the public, and coming out of that tabulator, yes, your identification is protected, but we're seeing what that vote is. So we, the people, can really see the vote. That's important. And the whole chain of custody is videotaped as well and live to the public, so that the public's taking their power back. So that's key. Love voter ID. But Evie, help me to understand voter ID and mail-in ballots. Tons of mail-in ballots, people harvesting mail-in ballots. What good is it to have voter ID when you have mail-in ballots?
So that's the other thing that we have to take another look at. Do mail-in ballots truly protect our voice? And I understand that, hey, it's hard to get to those polling places and so forth. But if we went back to the way we used to do business, we would have more security in our voting system. Right now, anybody can get your ballot and fill it out, send it in, and there's your vote. Well, we want to make sure that your vote is not discounted because somebody else used your mail-in ballot when you didn't even receive it. I've heard of individuals who didn't receive their mail-in ballot, and yet they were told that they had already voted because their mail-in ballot was put in, which made their vote.
I was one of them. They told me I voted. They told me a couple before my husband and I, and we were like, we didn't vote. What are you talking about? Right?
Right.
So,
and unfortunately, Kim, that's not uncommon. We need a voting system that protects people's vote. One person, one vote. And that's the way it should be. So I would really look into going back to the way things were and just making voting day a national state holiday so that people feel confident that they have the time to be able to go and vote. We've done it for other things. Let's do it for our voting system so that everybody feels that they have the opportunity to vote.
I love that. I love that. And Evie, I got to tell you, this is all about giving power back to we, the people. General Flynn says local action equals national impact. So real power is local, local, local. It means we're getting involved locally, right? And so a story I want to share with you, which I think you'll find really neat, because you'll be meeting some of these people in San Joaquin at our Take Our California Back to a Better Future. The teams in San Joaquin fought to expose Shakir Khan. If you heard a few years back, Shakir Khan was the elected official in Lodi, which is San Joaquin Valley, who was basically taking ballots. So here's his elected official. A ballot for Biden, a ballot for me. You fill it out. A ballot for Biden, a ballot for me. Can you imagine that? They found all of these ballots in his house. He was embezzling money. That guy has been brought to trial 10 times, Ebie. Nothing happened, has not been convicted until the people stood up. They continue to stand. We took our team of governor candidates down, or Take Our California Back team of governor and state candidates to San Joaquin. We met with the Farm Bureau. We met with the leaders of that county, and we did a press conference, and we called out we actually edified the ROV, the sheriff, the supervisors for the fight and for exposing it. And then we called them all to a higher standard of, let's go, guys. This guy needs to be convicted. 2 weeks ago, he was convicted. Finally, he's only given 5 years, though. That's it. 5 years, which is nuts. So I think that needs to change. He's somebody who needs a little bit longer to be disciplined. But anyway, so this is all about giving power back to the people. And I love the idea, just like you said, it is a holiday. It is 1 day voting, right? Yes, voter ID. Forget the mail-in ballots. I mean, that can be done on a very low level, but I'll tell you what, in other countries, they do elections in a day. They show up, they vote, everybody votes. They don't do the mail-in ballots. We can do them here. We can do this. So, Ebie, you're calling for back to Cali, bringing jobs, talent, investment home with smart economic development, water solutions, and workforce training. Would you just paint the picture for us? What does a thriving California look like under your leadership as Lieutenant Governor?
Definitely, Kim. So what I want to do before I answer that question is go back to the last one, because I realized I didn't fully answer your first question about stopping recidivism. So right now I'm working with different faith-based community organizations that go into the prisons and not only give them hope, but set up systems where they are going to be handed off to individuals that are going to help them once they come out. And they do this prior to them coming out. I want to make sure that we set up a system in the Lieutenant Governor's office where we're going to have them 2 years, maybe even 5 years prior to their out date. They're going to start working on job placement. They're going to start working on emotional placement with organizations that understand that even being within the prison system will change your mentality. So we want to address that prior to them coming out. I worked in the prison. I saw firsthand that there was not enough rehabilitation. And the rehabilitation part comes from spiritual rehabilitation, along with mental rehabilitation and physical rehabilitation, because some of the individuals there had, because of physical limitations, they weren't able to be part of society. We want to make sure we're addressing all of that. I know that there are people who truly wanted to rehabilitate, but we didn't put enough resources into the rehabilitation portion of CDCR for them to be successful. So I'm going to continue to work with those faith-based organizations or any organization that truly wants to help and do the work. And they're going to be accountable because they're going to have to show where the monies are going and show that they're actually making a difference in order to get money the next year and the following year. Because as you know, there are too many nonprofits out there who just take in money and don't do the work. So they hurt the nonprofits that are truly doing the work, because now everybody thinks that not all nonprofits share this type of thinking, and just not the case. So I
Yeah.
wanted to just answer that.
Yeah,
And
but
what,
let's stay here for a second before we go into your next question. I want to comment on this because, I didn't get to talk about this with Sean Collinson, and I think it's a very important piece. You've worked in the prison system. I have a client right now who was falsely accused of a murder. He was in prison for 25 years. Evidence will be coming out. There's 5 attorneys working on the case right now to bring all of this to the public, from corrupt DAs to corrupt judges who were protecting a very famous family. Okay. So his story of the prison system, I mean, that guy, we talk about educated, the guy is brilliant. And what he's brought to the table is, I want these governor candidates to understand what really happens in the prison system. Any kind of rehabilitation is normally done from somebody who works within the prison. Right. And they don't necessarily have all the tools in the tool shed to really help provide and support for rehabilitation. Right. And there's just so much inner breaking down of the prisoner from the guards. It's a sickly environment that is not about rehabilitation. So they are even more enslaved and in bondage, which is so sad. So I want to see, I want to know how you would come in as a lieutenant governor, how you would put pressure on the governor, who actually has a lot of power, right, to make sure that these guys, someone like my client, who would not take a plea bargain, he could have been out of jail. He wouldn't take a plea bargain. He said, I will not admit to something that I did not do. He spent 25 years in prison, innocent guy. Okay. Wow. So I want to know what you're going to do to hold these governor candidates accountable, or whoever that governor is.
Well, I would definitely hold the governor accountable by making sure that I am 100% aligned with what is good for the people. And here in California, I talk to people all the time because they ask me, who should I vote for? I say, you know what, you have a gift here in California that not too many other states have. You get to vote in directly the governor. You also get to directly vote in the lieutenant governor, which means that the lieutenant governor is not beholden to the governor, which means that the lieutenant governor can fight for the people, as it should be. So if the governor is not aligned with the people's needs, then the lieutenant governor should act as the heart base of the people and make sure that the governor understands what the people need and what they are clamoring for him or her to do. So that is my job as lieutenant governor, to make sure that the people's needs always are in front of the governor. The other thing is, we want to make sure that whoever the attorney general is for our state understands that the right of the people means that we do the right thing always, even when it's hard. And we have to get an attorney general that's not going to be beholden to the governor. As you know, some people say that our current attorney general aligns 100% with the governor, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. And I don't believe that that should be ever, because we always should have an attorney general that is beholden to the people first and foremost and only, because they should be doing the right thing for the people. And there lies the issue, is if we don't vote in people who understand that they work for the people, then we're going to continue to get the same results that we've gotten for decades now. So my job is to make sure that those 2 seats in particular are fighting for a justice system that is truly just and for the people. And that means, hey, if you're wrong, then we need to take you out of your position. If you're doing the wrong thing for the people, then we're going to either vote you out or get you out one way or the other, because we want to make sure people understand their job and who they're beholden to, the people.
And Ebie, what would the conversation look like? So we talked about holding the governor accountable. So what would the conversation look like between you and the governor? Okay, if you were in the position of lieutenant governor, in regards to the recidivism and providing real solutions in the prison, what might that conversation look like?
Kim, that's a great question. So my hope and prayer is that we get a governor who is based in the Lord, because I want a governor that understands that the laws that we have here in California and in our country are derived from the Judeo-Christian background that we had here in California and in our country. That being said, I would hope that their conscience, whatever they base their conscience on, would lead them to understand that those are people. Not only are they people, but they are people who are going to one day come back into our society. And if they have paid the price and done what they needed to do, and they've served their time, we have to give everybody an opportunity to do right and be successful within our society. And that means setting them up as best we can for success. So that, because if they're successful, they're going to be successful members of our community and raise their children to be successful members of our community, because it doesn't only hurt the prisoners, it hurts their families. So in order to help our communities heal properly, we have to do the right thing each and every single time for every single member of the community, as much as we can.
Very good. Very good, Ebie. And let's go back to that question that we had a little while ago. So you're calling for back to Cali, right? Bringing jobs, talent, and investment home with smart economic development, water solutions, and workforce training. So give us that picture. Paint that picture for us. What does a thriving California look like under your leadership as Lieutenant Governor?
Thank you, Kim. I think that most people understand what California looks like when it's thriving, because we've had it. We've had it. That's a time when the people feel emboldened, when they feel like they have more choices that are available to them and they're not limited. Right now, there's a push for green energy. And I'm gonna tell you, green energy is great for those who want to back it and want to utilize it, but it shouldn't be the only choice. We want people to be able to say, yes, I feel like this works better for me and my family. Maybe utilizing gas is a better solution for them. And I'm gonna give you an example. I have an EV, I have a Tesla, and I I have to charge almost every 2 hours. Yes. So if I have long distances to go, that doesn't work well for me, because that means now I have, instead of from here to LA, instead of a 6-hour drive, I may have an 8 or 10-hour drive. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of driving and a lot of time wasted. Yeah. So we need to be able to give the people the ability to make choices for their own households that make sense for them. Right now, we have gas at an all-time high. Why? Because our current gubernatorial administration believes that we don't need more refineries. Well, we do, because the people have said over and over again, we want to be able to utilize gas. And if we have it here in California, we should be able to utilize it because the people said so. I think there are more choices. Expand the economy. When we had the tech community come in to fruition here in California, the explosion of different jobs helped our economy to boom. So we want to be able to have those innovators come in and say, yes, we can be able to do this, and not be limited by legislation that just doesn't make sense for our economy or our people. So I want people to be able to choose what schools that they go to. I want them to be able to say, hey, maybe I want to homeschool my child because it makes sense for my family. We should be able to give them that option if that's what they want to do, because the people are the ones that pay these taxes, not us. Those people who are in politics or government, we're not paying all the taxes. No, the people do. So they should have a voice and more choices in what is available to them here in California.
Very good, Ebie. So Ebie, final question. What do you want every veteran, nurse, mom, dad, and hardworking California to know as they head to the polls and to our Take Our California Back to a Better Future Summit in San Joaquin?
Wow, it's going to be wonderful. I'm hoping that everybody that can come comes. Why? Because you're going to be able to talk to us in person and ask those questions that you probably didn't get, answered on all these different podcasts and shows. It's going to be intimate, which means it's one-on-one, face-to-face, and you get to know people when you can be able to look them in the eyes and directly ask your questions. So I'm hoping people come out in droves because we want to speak to you. We want to hear from you. The whole point of these type of events is so that we can be able to meet everyday people and hear from you. And I think that's important. I hope that you do too, California. So please come out and meet us.
So good. And Ebie, I know I just said that was the last question for you, but I was just prompted. I was thinking about you as a veteran. Can you give us one boots on the ground example of how you stood firm in the face of adversity?
There's so
and
many.
how you're going to stand firm here as Lieutenant Governor?
Yes, there's so many. As a veteran, I am so honored to have had the experiences that I've had in the military. I tell people that I did grow up in South Central Los Angeles, where there was a lot of gang violence. I went to Crenshaw High School. I saw a lot that I shouldn't have seen, but that was my world, and I thought that was the whole world. When I joined the military, I was able to see people, and I thought I was poor, but I was able to go to countries where people lived on less than $10 for the year, 10 American dollars for the year. And I was flabbergasted at how they made it work, how even through all that adversity, their families thrived. Why? Because they had a sense of family, community, a sense of belonging. And I realized what made California so great is that sense of belonging that we once had. And I want to bring that back. I saw so many things when I was in the military, but I want to share something that I saw while I was a nurse in the prison system in particular. There was an individual who came in when I was giving him his medication. I looked at him and I saw how young he was. And I found out that he had just came from the youth authority. He aged out of the system there. I found out that he was in the foster care system. His father was deceased, and he didn't really have family. He was in and out of juvenile hall, and he graduated to prison, state prison. He still had a look of innocence to him. And I prayed that the prison wouldn't change him too much. I saw him not too long after that, and he had changed. Unfortunately, some things happened to him while he was in the prison. And I can see that not only did he physically change, but the light dimmed in his eyes. He was hardened. And I knew that we had to have a better system, because there's too many children who are growing up in the prison system and thinking that that's all there is. And they have to lose the light that God gave them in order to survive in that system. I want to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. I want to bring true change and compassionate change to the system, because I've been in it. I saw what didn't work, and I know what will. And I'm willing to work with everybody and anybody to bring about that change.
Wow, Ebie. I'm so grateful that I asked you that. That was like a drop from God. Ask Ebie this. Ebie Lynch, you're a warrior. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your heart, your courage. California needs leaders just like you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to see you on the other side on April 24th and 25th at the Take Our California Back to a Better Future Statewide Summit in the breadbasket of America. I'm so excited, Ebie. We're going to have so much fun. And I'll tell you, I want the people, everyone that's listening today, share this with everybody. Share this show with everyone today. Ebie, you brought value today, and I want to thank you for that. And I'll tell you what, I feel honored to have somebody like you come onto the show, to have somebody like Sean, like to be able to work with the governor candidates as I have. And I really believe that together we can take this state back with God at the helm, putting the first things first. We can take our California back to a better future. So Ebie Lynch for governor, Ebie Lynch for California.com. That's Ebie, E-B-I-E, Lynch, Lynch, FOR, California.com. God bless you, Ebie Lynch. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Kim.
Honor. Wow, guys, that was a show today. What an amazing show. Oh my gosh. And the truth is, I always feel so honored and to be in this position. And I always ask that God just gives me the wisdom, the discernment, that my mouth is his mouthpiece, because this is his platform. And our time on this earth is so short that we really do have an opportunity right now. So I want to ask every single one of you to take the opportunity that God's giving you. If you feel like, I've been wanting to help, I've been wanting to support, I don't know what to do to take California back. Well, number one, you can vote. Vote, vote, vote. Yes, we're dealing with elections that have been compromised. Yes, that's why this election security feature that Shasta has utilized for transparent elections and other counties are now looking at. We've reached out to every ROV, Registrar of Voters Clerk, and supervisor throughout the entire state. Our teams have emailed, they're calling, they're still in the midst of all of that. They're all being invited. We want every elected official to be at Take Our California Back, because this is Take Our California Back to a Better Future Summit. And this is because it's going to take all of us. We cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. If we think our voice and our vote is going to count right now under the current situation, it's compromised. So it's time to take the power back with transparent elections, and we have a way to do it. Mike Lindell is bringing this to President Trump. They've been in conversations, so this is going to be launched throughout the country. It's either that or there's some national emergency, because it can't keep going the way it's going. It's time, America. It's time, California. It's time for we, the people, to take our power back. Today, we had two extraordinary candidates, two very different paths to leadership. One shared mission but they do have that one shared mission to take our California back to a better future. Sean Collinson and Ebie Lynch, with both of these warriors and their teams being at the Take Our California Back to a Better Future Statewide Summit on April 23rd and April 24th and San Joaquin. And you all can access your tickets there, everything that you need. Your hotels are there at takeourcaliforniaback.com. That's takeourcaliforniaback.com. You're going to be able to watch the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again Leaders and Governor State Candidate Forum. You're also going to be able to access the election transparency security feature demonstration. We'll have the ROVs, the supervisors there, elected officials, all the people, because you get to take your power back in elections. You get to be part of the historic all party lines debate. That's right. They're not debating one another, ladies and gentlemen. They're debating the real issues. We're going back to the Socratic method. Your voice matters. California, this is your moment. It's our moment. Whether you're a Republican, you're a no party preference, you're a Democrat, independent, your voice matters. Your vote matters. Your future matters. Mark your calendars, April 24th and 25th. If you'd like to be part of the statewide convoy, it's going to be the bomb diggity. That truck, that giant bus that's leading the pack, has Martin Luther King wrapped on it. It has JFK. It has President Trump. It has our warriors, guys. It will be leading the pack to Stockton. We'll be making pit stops along the way. Bring your teams, get your car. It's on the 23rd. Go to takeourcaliforniaback.com for all details. Now, if today's show fired you up, I want you to share it. Share. Tag a friend, get involved. This is Kim Yater. This is your peak performance coach getting ready to sign out. It's time to take your power back because nobody's going to do it for us. It's up to us. God will give us what we need. Jesus says we'll do even greater things than him. God bless you, my freedom-loving patriots. We are now moving into our Easter season. We have so much to celebrate. And me personally, I got to tell you, the life I get to live today, I have been so rescued. I've been rescued because Jesus said, you know what, Kim? You don't have to carry it. You don't have to pay the wages of your sin, which leads to death and bondage and shame and ugliness. And I would say recidivism, keep repeating the same thing over and over, right? Jesus came so that I could be set free, so that you could be set free, no longer in bondage and enslaved to the pattern of this world. We get to be a new creation in Christ, where the old is gone, the new has come. We get to celebrate that. We get to celebrate that as Christ went to the cross for you and me. And why? To lead us back to the Father so that we can access true freedom. True freedom doesn't come from a flag. True freedom doesn't come from a country. And I love our country and I love our flag. God bless America. God bless California. But true freedom comes from Jesus Christ, from our Father God, the creator of all things. So buckle up, everybody. You got a lot to celebrate. And remember, this is an amazing week to celebrate the true freedom that we have. Share this show with everybody. You can find us on X. You can find us on Rumble, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Buzzsprout, on all your social media podcast platforms, and go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com. It'll take you to all those platforms. And remember, go get your tickets to the banquet farm to fork dinner, takeourcaliforniaback.com. And the rest of the event is free. So I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. May God continue to bless you on this endeavor. And may you vote for the people that share your values and that are committed to truly taking this great state back. I'll see you on the other side. God bless.
Thank you for joining us for the Take Your Power Back show. As Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yater speaks to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Listen in weekly and learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be encouraged, be inspired, be transformed as you step into your power and take action in your leadership and allow your voice to be heard. Together, let's take your power back. To sponsor and support the Take Your Power Back show, go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com and take your power back.